sport. We get family stands. Your ticket says, you must sit down, you can't swear, and all those things. So it's pretending it's a family sport. Darts, no bad language in the crowd at darts. Yeah, we know they're all getting drunk, but they're still pushing that family sport idea. There isn't a sport that openly says, or doesn't sort of actively try to sort of cut down on the worst of swearing. So
I'm gonna take a point on your darts one. I'm not taking my family to the darts.
No, but having been to the darts, there's no bad language chanting there.
Right. Okay. All right.
So
okay. I get it.
You could take your family to that, as long as you don't mind your children being surrounded by very drunk people. They're not going to get sworn at. I've been to the darts several times, and bad language isn't a thing there. However, bad language on the ice at hockey is rampant. All the players really swear at each other, they swear at the refs, and the refs swear back. We know, we've heard them mic'd up. If you're sat close to the ice, you can hear it. So the idea that hockey is a family sport where bad language isn't tolerated, well, it's only not tolerated in the stands. It's completely tolerated on the ice. Yeah. So if it's tolerated on the ice, and let's remember, it's not tolerated in football. If you swear at the referee, that is a sending off in football. Whether they always get sent off or not, here or there, but the laws say it is. Abuse of official penalty, they're getting handed out not as often as the refs are getting sworn at. So no. I don't think it's too much of a stretch for the fans in the stands to include a few swear words, because that's what the players are saying, and I think you can do that. And the
players are also fighting, Jonathan.
Exactly. It's not a family sport. There are people bare-knuckle boxing. Would you say that cage fighting is a family sport? No. Well, they're allowed to punch each other and kick each other. Hockey playing is saying, they are allowed to do it. A 5-minute penalty is allowing you to do that. That is not a deterrent.
That's true.
So, I think you could justify doing it, because we don't have segregation at hockey, but we still have away and home blocks. You see it all the time. Can away supporters please remember to book their tickets in this area? All it takes is for a team, and I think they could do this, is just to enforce it and just say, if you're not sat in the away block, you're not coming in. It will not be safe for you. Because football can do it, so let's say that hockey can do it. When players are, sat in the penalty box, you see all the time, the videos of fans doing silly things around and about them. But why can't we just have some people around there just actively swearing and being horrible? Yeah, we're not going to climb into the penalty box and fight them, but yeah, we're going to make your life uncomfortable. You don't want to play here. We hate you, and we're going to tell you this. Rather than, oh no, we don't boo the opposition, we just cheer twice as loud. No, we boo you, and we cheer twice as loud for our own team. This is like the old Galatasaray sort of welcome to hell. We don't want you to enjoy your trip here. And why do we do that? Here's the blackout, it's all we're going to make them wait in the dark for our team to arrive. You can skate around on your own, get cold. We're not trying to be nice to the opposition here. So let's just turn everything up to 11. I remember Scooby in Hull, the announcer, who was fantastic at winding up the opposition in an official capacity. Just deliberately mispronounce the players' names, openly laugh on the microphone, and yeah, I think the officials do have the right to take microphones off people if it goes too far. I'm not aware of exactly what the rule is, but I'm fairly sure that the PA announcer can't just in the middle of a game start doing whatever he likes. I think there are some limitations. But within the rules, yeah, go for it. I want there to be that intimidating atmosphere. I know it's an indoor venue, but yeah, let's bring some flares in. Let's make it a properly horrible place for an away fan to attend our game. Because if there's no away fans, there's no support. Players say all the time, away support tonight, terrific, really kept us going through the tough times. Well, if there isn't any, because your fans are scared to turn up because they're not going to enjoy it, you've got a massive home advantage.
Was it the Green Bay Packers who used to make the opposing team dress outside and walk through the stadium in their old in their old stadium? Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, and you see all the time about the old football teams. Wimbledon used to do it as well. There's no hot running water. Norwich City, I think, was it? They tried to paint their away dressing room pink to reduce testosterone levels. Yeah. And it just makes teams nice and calm and relaxed and focused so they can go out and win the game. So that's not worked. But you've then seen other teams go the other way around. Tampa Bay Rays baseball team decided they were going to spend a load of money on the opposition locker room so that when they turned up they thought, oh, this is nice. And so then the following winter, when there was time for contract negotiations, hey, do you want to come and sign for us? And the players go, actually, yeah, your stadium's really nice. I like being there. So there are advantages to being a nice club, but there's also a competitive advantage to be had by being nasty and horrible. And so if your locker room hasn't been properly swept, and if your showers don't work particularly well, and if your bus has to park a long way from the rink, and if there's just a couple of power sockets, not enough for everything that you need, you can really cause some problems.
Does that not fire up the opposition, Jonathan?
It might do, but you're already fired up yourselves because you know that this is the sort of team you are. You're niggly, you're horrible. And I think you really can just, go to the extreme of this. Yes, you'll get it back your own, in your own face when you go somewhere else. But I don't think it's a massive stretch to say that hockey fans should be allowed to swear. The players are allowed to swear. So why can't the fans do it?
Let me take it a step further, because the reason why most people lament the family-friendly atmosphere at hockey clubs is because they think it hurts the atmosphere. It means you can't get really good chanting, you can't bring in things like flares, you can't recreate the German ice hockey experience, which is just, or the Swedish or the Finnish ice hockey experience, where you have the ultras and all the rest of it. Do you think the atmosphere gets better?
I think the atmosphere is different. I think it becomes more like football. As for better, yeah, I kind of think it would do. Because I think once you introduce an element of swearing and a sort of abuse, that's going to fire up players because they'll hear it. And if you hearing something, we're not going to swear, we keep it PG on here, but if you're hearing something that's pretty nasty being chanted about you, you're probably going to throw your next check a little bit harder, which in turn is going to get the crowd more into the game. I think it really does rile things up. And I think, all the chants we have for opposition goalies, we're just calling their name. If we made up something really rude about, them and their family, I think you're really going to get a reaction. We've seen goalies have a paddy when they've conceded 4 goals in a period, and we're all chanting, Civ, Civ, it's all your fault, and all this sort of stuff. 1 shot, 1 goal, all that stuff. But if there was something genuinely, dirty being sung about them, that reaction's just going to happen even faster, and it's going to happen to an even greater extent. I think it's going to be much harder for opposition players to manage their emotions if you can get something supercharged and you can get a whole stand of fans to be nasty and horrible and intimidating.
One of the things I've hear about the defence of hockey as a family sport, and I must say, I think it should be a family sport. I like the idea of being able...
Oh, yeah, this is not an endorsement. This is me going along with the hypothetical of things.
But one of the things that people say is actually it makes the sport more marketable as a PG sport. And whether we would make it, like I say, more adult-orientated would actually hurt crowds and hurt attendance. I'm not 100% sold by that argument. I think the idea that it becomes more of a nighttime, nightlife kind of entertainment product I think would attract, again, a very different type of crowd, a very noisy kind of crowd. I think you see more fights, don't you?
I think that sort of crowd would probably expect and want more fights. And, a lot of hockey fans want more fighting.
Does it? But then what it would do is ice hockey would become the sport everybody thinks it is from the outside. Isn't that the sport where they fight? Yeah. But actually everybody in the crowd is really nice, and you can get a nice beer and you can have a sit down. Do you know, that's the thing that catches most people by surprise, is that disconnect between what's happening on the ice and what's happening off the ice is worlds apart.
Yeah, I just sort of think about how things could be different. So if you imagine, the hockey rink, and the players are skating out before the game, and if you've got an area like, at Manchester, where the players sort of are visible to the crowd before they skate onto the ice, or at Coventry, I know they've got the inflatable up, you can still sort of see them gathered ready to come out onto the ice, or at Sheffield, the away team coming out from the curtain end. If you are then sort of essentially surrounding those fans, put a cage up either side, get the fans rattling the cage. Imagine what the Sheffield Steelers players skating out at the arena. They can see blocks 104, 105 either side of them, and the fans are all reaching down for a high five. Imagine if that was away fans staring at them, snarling at them. They're not going to do anything illegal, they're not going to spit on them or anything like that. But if they're going to just be right in their faces and giving them, really angry stares, I think there's something to that. I think that'd be terrific. I remember sort of the opposition teams walking out in front of A Block in Hull, and there are some characters in A Block, and that was an intimidating walk. And you can just go to the nth degree with this and just really turn up the intensity and try and make it a horrible experience for an opposition team to come to your venue. So that's it for another episode of Hockey Hypothetical. You can reach us on Twitter at HockeyHypo if you've got any suggestions for scenarios you'd like us to discuss. Don't forget to leave us a comment and a rating wherever you found this podcast. On behalf of Douse, this is Jonathan saying goodbye.